Hello and welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV. I'm Lucia and no avatar tonight because this is a recording. I'm going to be doing the next stage of the Yokoi reputation quest. Last time we didn't get an achievement, which is funny because we did some major stuff like digging up the storage space, which is going to make things a bit easier, but let's see. She's eager to explain her new progress. It's always good to see you at the shelter, Coda. You'll be pleased to hear I've finished reading Dartagor's Living Sepulchre, and it was just as illuminating as we hoped. There are good tidings as well. Carbalor spread word of our work throughout World's Echo, and another Yokoi has joined us, eager and ready to contribute. He brought with him a stone golem, which our people used in ancient times to build the very settlement which stretches below us. Ooh, neat. I'm unfamiliar with their workings, but I know long ago some among us could bend stone to their will. Ah, legendary Toph. I hear the golems could work without tiring, making them perfect beasts of burden. Despite our strength, we still require, even Yokoi require rest, but with golem at our disposal, we can make progress day and night. You've seen in action, yes? I'd be happy to show you, but it's ancient and must be tested thoroughly before set to work. Allow me to show you the sepulchre and what we've learned about the pact. Come to see me, shall we? By the way, I found something interesting. Now, as you can see, I decided to get a Soul of the Weaver since this increases stats a little, as you can see. However, as you'll notice, you can have up to 3 crafter soul stones, but as you might notice, they're all filled. Like, if I were to get all 3, I'd have no more room for soul crystals, which is a bit of a problem, because next expansion, like all the others, will add 2 more. You can put them in your inventory, mind you, but can't discard them or anything, so I do wonder how they'll go about that. The easiest one, I guess, would just be to focus on giving everyone more storage, just space for them. But otherwise, yeah. Alright, now, what was gleaned from the information we've learned today? Once I found the threads connecting the glyphs to the sepulchre to those of the nearby pillars, I was able to piece the stories together. They told of Dartagor's life here, and of course the pact. Apparently, the close bond Dartagor's forebears came to share with the spirits was formed almost entirely by chance. Chance, you say? You see, the Yokoi living here drank a corn liquor called Kirkayar to warm their bodies against the cold. One particularly frigid day, they noticed the spirits lingering where the liquor was stored, as if drawn by the scent of the drink. Thus the Yokoi made their first offering, curious what would happen. The once temperamental spirits became placid, almost at once. Friendly, even. In fact, they started visiting often, regaling the Yokoi with their strange games and charming antics. Eventually, the altar was built and the pact was formed to serve the spirits their favorite libation. Over generations, their bond deepened. Ah, so basically the corn tastes bad because it's not meant to be eaten. It's meant to be fermented and made into an alcohol. Interesting. But each generation of Yokoi numbered fewer than the last. Right, they were once a great race that were in control of this entire continent, but then they slowly became just the remnants of what they are now. No wonder they're obsessed with ancestor worship. Dartagor saw her family depart one by one until only she remained. Even so, she was not lonely. Her parents lived on in her memory, and the spirits told the tale. The sepulchre contained vivid scenes of her frolicking in the snow with the spirits, one of them gazing up at the moonlit sky together. One passage was dedicated to the time she and the spirits saw some frost blooms. The flowers blossomed only rarely, so they cherished the moment. But then the stories end so suddenly because she passed away. My apologies, Coda. Her absence pains me, but this feeling means she's yet with me, and that is enough. Dartagor's sepulchre has shown us the way. An offering of Kirkir is sure to calm the spirits once again. Since Burler manages the food stuff, he should know how soon the corn liquor can be ready. Let's go ask him. I've never had corn liquor, but it's amazing how universal liquor seems to be loved. When I played Sekiro and learned about monkey wine, I thought that was something the game had made up, but, no. No. It turns out that, yeah, monkeys actually do, in fact, make monkey wine because they just ferment fruit, because that's, at the end of the day, that's what alcohol, that's what it is, that's what the wine is, a fermented fruit. I haven't heard of this before, but it explains the corn's odd flavor. It was never meant to be eaten. Haha! We recently found a ruined building, and I thought that might be the kitchen or something of the like, but now I'm wondering if that's where they made the drink. Dardagar left us a gift. Truly, we know what to restore next. The golem will help us complete the task faster, and its testing should be done by now. We should go check on him. This will actually be my first time seeing a golem with my own eyes. Another new experience for Dardagar to thank. Huh. Ha, look at her. Far off her spirits seem lighter than ever. Dardagar must be proud. I've heard they were testing the golem on the outskirts. You're in for a sight. Best get going before you miss the show. I'm not sure why I felt compelled to go with Weaver of all things. Weaver typically requires goldsmith and leather worker in order to work together with everything. But I suppose armor smith and leather worker are the main ones that create armor. So if you want to go with 3, that's not bad. Back when you were limited to only 3 de-synthing items, though, it was usually leatherworking, goldsmithing, and weaving, because that was what most of what the possibly exchanging weaving with armor smithing, depending on whether you want to get more of heavier armor or lighter armor or broken down. Just because those are what the most common dungeon drop items would be. Goldsmith was pretty much the main non-negotiable one because for accessories almost universally goldsmithing. Don't get me wrong, there's a decent amount of woodwork ones. In fact, I believe the accessories for this time around are themselves mostly woodworking. So it's not that it's the only one, but it's the most common to be certain. The Golem Keeper. Hey, I remember that thing. Talking to me? I'm thinking here. This golem is supposed to be so still. Hey, that's the enemy we fought during the Dead Baby Cave. You seem to recognize our new stony friend. Have you encountered one of these before? You fought them in Yaktel. Why, is there any corner of Tyrol that does not bear your footprints? This golem was apparently used for building, so we need not worry about being attacked, even if it was moving. Yeah, it'd have to be modified for that. Although, weird, it has some, what looks like cannon arms. And it won't be moving until we have what we need. This is the fresh volunteer I spoke of. Although he was kind enough to bring the golem, it appears something's lacking. Tell us what it is, and we can help. Something's wrong with the parts that make it move. Tell me, what do you know about golems? Only that they were used long ago. I never had a chance to see them built in Warlord's Echo. I'd very much like to hear more about them, however. Perhaps Koda here would learn something new. That'd be nice, yeah. Very well, I take it even a youngling like you knows where some Yokoi were masters of the stone around us. Although many now know them as machines of war, their original purpose was to shoulder the burden of physical labor. They built our houses and paved the ground beneath our feet. The secrets of stone were passed through generations. My forebears were proud of the knowledge they had provided our people. But we foolishly went to war. The servants we used for creation instead got outfitted to destroy, and the golems returned to weapons. Then when peace came again, we looked to less cumbersome and dangerous tools. The golems fell into disuse and gathered dust in storehouses. Once I thought of your work here, I knew it was a chance to prove their worth again. I brought this golem here on my own, but the long years haven't been kind to its delicate parts. From what I understand, you require replacement ones, right? That's right, and spare parts aren't easy to come by, so we'll have to make them ourselves. Tell me what you need, and I can ask one of the artisans to make them. She means me. I want to swear not to use them as weapons again, but they were used as weapons before in an offensive conquest. We should probably just go with what yeah, she means me. Yeah, because if they get attacked unreasonably, then having a backup plan might not be a bad idea. Why, I'd be in your debt, and if you're worried about its armaments, rest assured they are broken beyond my skill or desire to repair them. My best guess is the energy transmission components are worn out. To make more, we need parts that are highly conductive to magical energies, then we can get going. You know, I think Wardifer can help us out of this problem. Come, Coda, I'd like to see you procure the things we need. The golem lack components required to let ether flow throughout its body. I imagine they're not going to have us use Electrope. In fact, that probably wouldn't work particularly well since, as you might have noticed, we're not in the Thunderdome. And without Thunderdome, we don't have the electricity required to make Electrope function. I mean, it can last without it. I mean, we saw how our buddy, Prish worked, but at the same time, Prish is also falling apart in the quite literal sense, so... Good news, Walfurter was able to use connection to provide us with some highly conductive materials. This should be enough to make components that will enhance the flow. Can I count on you? If you need a resupply, talk once more. Good luck. If we can get that golem working again, both the brewery and altar restored in no time. Here we are, conducted golem. It looks like this needs to be high quality, so... I know, I'm cheating by using that. But it's just so good. It might have honestly been a mistake. Oh, well, that was easier than expected. Then again, these are usually easy, for reasons you saw when I did the Laporitz one, if you watched those recordings. Yeah, I basically never did any crafting prior to this expansion, so my gear was just, NPC purchased gear, and they had to be sure that you'd be able to do it in that kind of gear, so, yeah, it's usually pretty easy. Alright, finished? Oh, I could barely wait to see conductive golem components. Like 7 components required to get ether flowing, blessing it with locomotion. Ah, fantastic work, although I expected no less. Still, to think you could craft a perfect replacement part for a mechanism so ancient. Truly, your imagination astounds me. While you were doing the creative part, we managed to find some stone to help patch up the other wear and tear. Let us return. Assuming everything goes to plan, our long project will be as good as finished. Wow, that came along a lot quicker. But I suppose now that we had the blueprints, more or less, it's a lot easier to know how to rebuild it. Look what everyone's hard work has achieved. The Golem 2 was every bit as helpful as we'd hoped. The Breathless Altar restored at last. Now we only need to wait for the character to ferment, and the pack can begin. Until then, there are plenty of odds and ends to wrap up. By the way, Coda, would you like to share a drink with me when it's done? If this unlocks another recipe for me, I'd love that. Of course, the first batch will be used for the ritual, but I see no harm in a little indulgence afterwards. Nothing is sweeter than the fruits of one's labor, after all. With the restoration of the character house and the Breathless Altar, it's finally been restored to its former glory. Keep assisting, and the successful pact will restore peace to Urkapaka. Three additional quests. Nice. And a bigger selection of wares. Winter's Warmth. Finally, it's giving me stuff again. more importantly, because because the reputation's been reset, I can now actually start using these to gain again. Table for 2. Then we do the ritual, and then after that we have another 10-day bit of work to get the epilogue done. Great news, Coda. Nopoli tells me that no few Pelopello wish to visit Zergoth the Open-Armed. I inquire, and she agrees that our beautiful altar ought to live on the memories of anyone who behold it. Warlord's Echo is preparing to receive them, but they need Abe and Arjun. When you arrive, speak to the tour guide. Save copies. Big mountain, little climbers, scouring for flowers. In the course of the brewery's work that happened to create a corn-based beverage, the workers find it quite rejuvenating. In fact, they can scarcely keep up with the demand. The stock of ingredients is depreciated. As an artisan yourself, so I suspect you have an eye for high-quality produce. Would you mind picking some blooms? We simmer the corn and grow the northern of Kavahar the First. Once you've collected a few blooms, deliver them directly here. Rock solid repair job. Forgive me, Coda. Could I entrust you with more golem maintenance? Though its function restored, its construct needs regular upkeep. Still has repair, new malfunction will need replacing. Reminds me, new items are available to exchange. Ah, I guess this is going to be another one where the mount is unlocked at the end rather than the beginning. Interesting. Gazes to the into eternity with eyes unblinking. I could probably end it here if I wanted, just because that's everything, but I guess I can do these while talking a bit. It does definitely go with the overall themes of Legacy, and both Legacy, looking back and looking forward. Oh. Thank you for coming. The merchant placed an order, but I'm struggling to craft the equipment for such a small frame. To complete this, could you create a pair of snowshoes? Mountaineering paraphernalia. Oh, come on, really? Luckily, if it asks for a high-quality item, it usually only asks for one. Oh, can't wait to see what you've made for me. A worthy investment of coin, if I say so myself. As long as I have this, I need no fear, no icy mountain at all. The rumors don't do you justice, Coda. I can but admire craftsmanship. Let's begin the long climb. Yeah, I believe technically, when we talked to that NPC in Warp over there, we're technically taking a very long hike to get up there. Because we can see the snowy mountains from here, it's just that, they're a ways away. It's definitely starting to get a little snow-peaked even in these areas here, but nowhere as bad as the, yeah, snow-covered ones over there and the area we get to. It just feels a lot shorter because we basically quick travel there. Which does make sense. Makes sense to have the only areas we actually go to for the plot. I think there's still some areas from the 1.0 we technically never got added to the later expansions. Like there's some Coerthas various different highlands. But we only have Central and Western. Alright, this is in... Oh, I actually think this area might be only... What? Did I click on something? Oh, I must have clicked on something. Yeah. I guess we have to edit that out later. guess that'll be all for now, I suppose. The flower picking, I mean, that is. Guess I'll just have to keep going through here. Wait, what's this up here? Oh, I was wondering, is that a castle there? Oh, I guess that's where they do their farming over there. Oh, yeah, I can actually go to that area. Oh, I get it. This is where Valley Garmonda was. A reference that would have been really amazing if I hadn't been thinking of the English name for it this whole time, because they changed. I think I mentioned, but when the English translation did Final Fantasy VI for the first time and changed it to Final Fantasy III because, yeah, they changed it Tritok or Tridok or Tritok, whatever. Which is a really weird translation choice. I guess because it has 3 elements or something. Or maybe they just thought it sounded cool, I don't know. Oh. Dragon Ball's English translation called the Kikoho the Tri-Beam, even though that's very clearly a diamond attack. You know, 4 sections. Replacement. Oh, here we are. Looks like these just need to be normal quality, so that should be pretty easy. Yeah, if it's normal quality, they require a handful. If it's high quality, it usually just requires 1. Reminds me I should really start doing the cosmic exploration again. It's really just Ishgard restoration, but in space, but it also provides you the materials for building rather than having to go through the legwork. And while some say the legwork is good, builds character, and her complete emotional appeals to emotion, I don't know. Neither of them are particularly appealing to me, honestly. I don't know why. Like you can see, I did in fact do some relic grinds for Weaver, just because I thought they'd be nice, but... Well, I need to go this way anyway, so I'll do it over here. Karakure House. Here we are. Part of me wonders if maybe I should have redone this whole thing just to avoid that edit, given this is a recording and not meant to be, but I already completed the quest. I guess I can just quit after. I don't know. I guess you can have your own thoughts if you see this later, or if not, I'll just cut it in half. These are genuinely just meant to be very short situations without much in there. Alright, there we are. Well, I do like how this is going. As per usual, the Crafting Gathering has better writing than the combat ones. The combat reputation quests. So until next time, thank you for watching. Hope you had a good time, and I'll see you later.